This is one of the craziest things that I've ever seen.
Hi, I'm Rolfe. I'm his brother. We're twins.
I think you're gonna let me know that everyone in your family's a midget.
They're not midgets, they're dwarfs.
I've shown that to so many people, and they're like, when the fuck did SNL do this? I'm like, no, this is real, dude. Like, what the fuck is happening?
I think maybe I'm pregnant.
Wait, the trailer's so good. I've never seen the trailer. This is so good.
There's sure a lot of midgets around here.
This is chaos, dude.
Matthew McConaughey,
Just get really serious.
Patricia Arquette, and in the role of a lifetime,
Goldman.
Tiptoes.
Come on.
What the fuck?
All right, welcome back to the Crown Cinema Podcast, and in this episode, we literally just watched that movie. I mean, what the fuck, dude? The trailer obviously makes it way worse. The movie's honestly not great, but I do think the trailer makes it look pretty corny.
Yeah, I mean, that's just like the classic stereotype, early 2000s. That's what all the trailers look like. And it's just interesting because I think off that trailer, like, I think it kind of shows you that there's going to be like the hardship of Matthew's character.
Yeah.
Kind of being in denial that his wife's pregnant. And like you can understand why just off the trailer. Well, he's from a family of dwarves. So obviously he like carries that gene with him. But then the rest of it just kind of seems like it's a little light-spirited, lighthearted.
Yeah, it seems like in the trailer, from just the trailer, it seems like the midget part's going to be like a surprise. Dwarfs,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to be offensive there. McConaughey is really offensive at midget.
They're dwarves.
Dwarfs, right, sorry. He said midget, that's why I said that.
Yeah. It's said a lot in the movie.
Yeah, so like, you think that's going to be a surprise, but really from the get-go, you know the dwarfs are in the family. Like, it's like immediately. First time. So it's not like a weird thing. Like, it's normal in the movie.
Yeah. But
like the funniest thing to me is how much of a piece of shit McConaughey is. Like, he's so unlikable. He doesn't have one redeeming quality about himself.
That's why, I kind of like this movie. I like the way they went for, like, it's just a very direct message. It's just kind of showing just the lives of being a dwarf, I think, in America. And it doesn't do it in a way where it's like you have to pity them. In fact, it's like kind of, it's like, no, we're fine. We have hardships just like anybody else. But like we're good. Like, it shows dwarves like living well, living free. They're outspoken. They get along just in day-to-day life as many other people do. It's kind of incredible. There's really not that many. I guess in 2003, there was like 100,000 in North America.
Damn.
And that's just not that many.
Let's see how many dwarves there are.
There's just, it's just a very small percentage.
How many dwarves?
No pun intended.
Are in the world. Wow, I'm smelling like Scott right now. All right. How many dwarfs are in the world? Estimated 652 people with dwarfism in the world.
That's just in the world.
Only
so
7,000 in the UK.
Wow. So it really is that rare. So I could see why
30,000 people?
I could see why this is like an important movie.
Yeah.
To them. They're not very highly spoken for.
That's why a lot of people
in the media.
That's why a lot of people that are dwarves, they were pissed whenever Disney decided to not like exclude the dwarves from the Snow White woke movie.
Oh, I didn't even know. Yeah, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, they took the dwarfs out. They like made them like a different thing. And dwarfs are like, what the hell? Like, that's one of our roles. Like,
yeah, there's
not that many of us, and there's just in reality, there's not that many stories to have a dwarf be in the movie.
Yeah,
that's like the one movie that they like shine in. Like, that's the whole point.
I knew they went the direction of her not being saved by the prince, or however the story goes.
That girl sucks, by the way. I've seen some clips of her on interviews.
I have too. Not the biggest fan of her. I just whatever. But anyways, back to Tiptoes. I liked it. I thought it was raw. It definitely caught me off guard. Like, it was not as funny as the trailer kind of made it.
It's supposed to be a rom-com, but it's not funny at all.
That is not. Is it really classified as a rom-com?
Romance comedy.
Wow.
What jokes did they throw in there? There's like not one joke.
They said some dicey things. Like, I can think of, when they're laying in bed and she's, her character. And I appreciate it. This is, one of the aspects I appreciate is her character you thought she was going to be the bad one.
Right.
You know, that's where they kind of get you. You think she's going to be the bad one, especially from the trailer. But even in the beginning, you know, she's like, well, how could you not tell me? Like, I'm not prepared for this, blah, blah, blah. But she gets it together very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, she's laying in bed with Matthew after, you know, the cat's out of the bag. She's gone and like had brunch with who her family members are going to be. And she's kind of just trying to relate to Matthew as if she just, you know, on like a childhood level.
Right.
Like, what was it like being a kid, you know, when you were normal and you're growing up around like little people? And it gets into like, you know, a married couple talking about like, who, you know, who's your first kiss at like 12, 13,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
She's like, did you ever have any sexual relations with any of the dwarves?
Honest question. It's got to be, you know, that's a
I mean,
good
that's
question.
your life. Like he only grew up around dwarves.
Yeah.
Like literally like that. You seen the party. There's like 100 people in that party getting after it. So like, it's obviously his community he grew up in.
Yeah. And, but she says the line of, you know, he talks about like, yeah, you know, playing doctor, like in a circle with like, you know, when you're like 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, like I would have loved to see you get circle jerked by midgets.
You're like, bro,
You're
what?
like, whoa.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
You're talking about children?
That was, yeah, I mean, yeah, just,
That's hilarious.
That's trying to relate, I guess, too hard.
And it doesn't
Like,
make
too
sense.
much.
Like, I understand what
Just-
they're going for. Like, the story with McConaughey being the guy that's like the bad guy in the movie, essentially. Do you think he's the main character? He's really not. It's the girl. But the purpose of his character is like really just to be like, to show that the main girl has this arc of where like she was the one that was like not sure about having a, like maybe giving a dwarf baby out. And then, you know, her actually becoming where she loves it. She's actually the strong one.
Yeah.
And they want McConaughey to be that contrast in that relationship. But it's like, how is it realistic? He literally grew up in this forever. Like, that's the only thing he knows. So why is it weird for him? Why can he not handle the fact that his kid's a dwarf? Like, he knows that his entire life. Since he was born, he realizes, okay, I'm probably going to have a dwarf baby. So, like, why is it so hard for him now? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
I don't know. Maybe it's just kind of I don't know. It on a deeper level, I can only assume that like growing up for him, like, you know, he does tell the main, you know, his wife that his brother like wasn't bullied as a kid, like he wasn't picked on or anything.
Yeah.
So he says that, but I still think maybe that's even him like being in denial. Like, you know, maybe he was, as much as Matthew was picked on for having like a dwarf brother.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just, I don't know. I can see why he would be, I guess, self-hating, just an aspect of like, it's just going to be really hard to raise like a kid. Like, because I've never really thought about like what it's like being a dwarf as a child, as a baby. You know, I never knew that, you know, they're in pain. It makes a lot of sense though. But that's why I appreciate this movie. You know, I really do. Like,
yeah, it like opens you up to like understanding these people.
yeah, and it shows
what it's like to go through.
and it shows how there's like just in like regular size people, like you have, you know, girls that are cheating on their boyfriends.
Yeah.
You got guys that have been, you know, they're well made. They're well off. They do well for themselves. They have outspoken artists who hate the government, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, immigrants. They're immigrants. I don't know why I just said it like that.
Immigrants.
There's immigrants that come. So it's like showing the whole community it looks just like us, you know. They're just
it is.
they're just a little. They're just little. They're
All
just
right.
a little.
What do you rate it?
Honestly, I rated it as a 7.
Damn. All right.
I was kind of rolling with the movie. I like the flow of it. And it was the ending that I can understand. I just wasn't rooting for. That just kind of
We'll talk about that in a second.
We'll get there.
I give it a. You know, honestly, I thought it was gonna be really shitty.
Yeah,
But it wasn't that shitty.
it wasn't.
I didn't think it was that good.
Yeah. Okay.
I give it. I'm just gonna say 5. I think it's like average.
just kind of right there.
Just
in the
right
middle.
there. It's not exceptional. It's not bad. It's just kind of like, there's some like I guess my biggest problem with it, and it makes sense why they wrote it in, but it's just not that compelling, is like having a Peter Dinklage character. His plot line adds like really nothing to the story. The only thing that character adds is like, you get to see a different, like the most normal of them. That's like, he's eccentric. He likes to do drugs. He's drinking all the time. It's like seeing that kind of like character.
He's having sex with a regular sized woman.
He's fucking cool. Like you see him on his motorcycle smoking a cig, seeing that girl hop off. He's like, hop in on
Honestly,
my bike.
I think that's just for. I think that character is just for like the little people. They, you know, if you're gonna do a movie about dwarves, like you have to have Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, it adds like it adds like a more relatable person.
Yeah,
like you have
you
a more
want to see that
relatable
rock star guy in the characters, so like you can just be like, fuck yeah, like I could be like that.
Yeah, it makes it normal up front of like these people are normal people. Like there's all shapes and sizes of dwarfs.
Yeah,
like they're all normal people. They're just smaller. So it kind of like adds that relatability, makes you like understand from the get go that you know they're all just normal. So they're just dwarfs. Yeah. So like you, from the audience perspective, you understand why McConaughey's a douchebag. You're like, dude, these people are normal. What the fuck is your problem? Yeah. You grew up with these people. Your parents are. Your brother's that. Like, what the hell?
It's very frustrating. Like seeing, you know, just that character. It's like, come on, man. Like everybody else is on board with this. Like,
yeah,
you're the only. I mean, dude, your son is born, and your first reaction is to punch a hole in the wall right in front of the doctor and the kid,
freaking out. I mean, dude,
what's done is done. You know, and you. It's like you said, how could you be surprised now? Like all the evidence is saying like this was more than likely going to happen.
Yeah, he has like a reverse character arc. Like he starts off the one defending it, and then he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? We have a dwarf as a baby."
Bro,
it's like, dude, calm down, bro.
He kept throwing out abortion. Like he gave her several.
he really fishing for it.
I think there's something to be said for like. There is something to be said for his character, just in the sense that he was very much on board with like, I really don't want to have children now. Like he and she was like, well, you know, we've been talking about children, blah, blah, blah. I think in his mind, he was like, yeah, but I was going to tell you after we got married, like, hey, we're going to adopt.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you kind of drop this bomb on me and it's like, no, let's get an abortion. You know, like if you don't want to do this, I completely understand. She's like, no, I can do this. He's like, yes, but if you really don't want to.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's just trying to say, like, I don't think I can actually do this. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know what it is. I think I'm just, like, kind of embarrassed, I suppose.
Yeah,
like, I'm embarrassed when I do have to, like, go out and see, you know, just a million other, like, regular-sized people, and I bring them into my lives. And there's always just that huge shock of like, oh my God, your whole family, you know?
Yeah.
So
it makes sense for the story, but I just really don't think that's believable.
It's not redeeming in any way.
Yeah. You kind of hate him at the end of the movie. You're like, this guy's a piece of shit father. I mean, leaving his wife alone with this condition that she doesn't know anything about, but he knows everything about it.
Yeah.
He can be like the lifeline when it comes to stuff. So he grew up with it. His twin brother, they grew up together, same exact age.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what goes on. Like he's been there. It's his twin brother. You have like a connection with your twin brother, right? So like as you grow up, you understand, you have more sympathy because like literally the same, I guess they're not identical twins, obviously, but like your brother who came out the same time as you, grew up together, you like know him. You have more compassion for him.
Yeah.
It's not like he should be the one that's the one
and
that's like getting into it.
Close. You know, they get excited to see each other. There's no like resentment. Like, you know, he loves him and he knows that he's a normal guy and his brother like does well. He's a writer, an author. Like he makes money.
Yeah. He's a cool motorcycle riding.
Yeah.
Rider.
I mean, bro, he gets into some crazy shit and he handles his own, you know, he's got a girlfriend on the side that keeps kind of letting him down, but he's a good guy. He just, in his mind, he probably just doesn't think he can do any better because he is a little person. So he's like, well, you know, like no other female will probably have me except for her. You know, I was 15 when I lost my virginity to this girl. There's probably nobody else. This is the best I got. This is the best chance I got. So
going into the relationship part, the movie's so sexual.
From the jump.
It's like overly sexual. Like everybody, all the girls, they all dress kind of slutty.
Well, this is LA.
Fair.
They're definitely, you know, they're showing not just the life of little people, but the life of little people in Hollywood.
Yeah. And they're all fucking each other. It's like
they're showing parties of like, you know, little people having sex in like open spaces, you know, anybody can watch. They're showing like real deal Hollywood parties.
It's kind of funny to think about. What if the filmmaker just has a fetish for this and he's like Because I just seemed like
That's
so
dark.
extra
That's
sexual.
dark. That's
He might,
dark.
bro.
Like we were sitting here thinking like, oh, this is a great movie for, for little people to have a voice. They had a lot of good roles, but that would be twisted.
The guy just had
And
a fetish.
who really knows?
You really don't. Writer and director. That's not a good sign.
No.
He wrote this and directed. He had a vision for this. He's like, whoa, look at this guy.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
It is not looking good.
No.
Jesus Christ, dude.
That's
He's a
your
rope around his neck.
wild headshot.
Yeah, bro.
That's showbiz.
I'm pretty sure you make your own IMDb page. Like, I think it's like a social
Yeah,
media profile. You can
I'm
like pay
sure.
for it to get it. So like this guy probably picked that.
I'm sure you get approval on the headshot.
He also wrote Ted Bundy.
He's definitely okay.
He's got some weird shit.
He's got a wild catalog.
That's hilarious. But yeah,
Yeah.
so like his what's his name? Gary Oldman, performance of a lifetime. His girlfriend you were talking about, like she's super slutty. Like she has 3 different partners in the movie.
Yeah,
Movie's an hour and a half, and she gets fucked like 3 different times.
that's what I'm getting at. But he feels like he can't do any better.
Yeah,
That's
Gary
the
Oldman.
only girl that's ever given him a shot.
It does seem kind of fucked up though to make Gary Oldman the main brother.
Like, why couldn't it have been Peter?
Because okay, maybe the argument to have not a dwarf be McConaughey's brother is you find somebody that looks like McConaughey, so you can be like, oh yeah, that's his brother. But Gary Oldman looks fucking nothing like McConaughey. So it's like, well, why did you even cast a normal sized person to be a dwarf in this movie?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I think they kind of pulled it off, like with the brothers. Just Gary kind of had like the same hair, and they gave him big glasses.
Yeah,
I was like, okay,
they didn't make him look like a good looking guy, which makes the ending hilarious. You like, I know you thought it, and I did too. Halfway towards like the end, like after the midway point, you're kind of thinking like,
is this about to happen?
You're like, nah, they're it's just that the wife, the one that's having the dwarf, that's McConaughey's fiance, and Gary Oldman, they're just nice to each other. They're being family. It's like he's being a good uncle, being supportive. Like, it's just a sweet, innocent thing. They're not being romantic. There's no like romantic hints. I think we're just picking that up being wrong. Then the ending pops in, and Gary Oldman steps in to become the father.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, what? That was what you are doing? You're
Yeah.
hinting to them having a romantic relationship?
See, I wouldn't say halfway through the movie. I think honestly, with like 30 minutes left.
Yeah, I mean like halfway, like after the middle of the movie, like halfway between that is whenever you start like kind of guessing about that.
No. What I thought was going to happen was that Gary Oldman's character, Rolfe, was going to like show Matthew's character like how to be a dad.
Right.
And like he was going to be the one to like show Matthew like, hey man, it's going to be okay. I'm your brother. I love you. Like, and this is fine. Look at me. Like, I'm good.
Right.
Like life's a little harder for me, but like, I'm fine. Like I do well. Like this kid will be just fine if you kind of step up as a father, which, that's what I thought the direction was going to be until Matthew's character leaves at the end. And then I'm like,
love my son.
Yeah.
What'd he say?
Yeah. And see, we had to go back and rewind that because I thought Matthew was saying like, I love my son.
Right.
Like,
trust me, I love don't think about piece of shit. Okay. I love my son.
Because at one point when he pulls up to the cabin, he's like, boy, like what you two must think about me. And so you're thinking he's like kind of like, I love him. This is hard, and it's like, all right, like I get it, whatever. Like it might take you a little bit to
go to
come
therapy.
around to, go to therapy, go see a shrink, and kind of figure it out. Like no,
crazy, because it's like
twin bro stole twin bro's wife.
Yes, dude.
And she was the one that like, she was like, hey, you can kiss me.
He's
crazy.
He steps in to be daddy. He's
Hey,
a new
man.
daddy.
Hey man, family can get weird, I guess.
That is so weird. Because like, yeah, that's just such a weird way to go about it, making McConaughey the douchebag and him like being a deadbeat. Like he was the good guy, and then he becomes a deadbeat after at the end. You're like, this guy sucks. Fuck him. And that fade to black after that kiss, you're like, holy shit, that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna get married together and raise this baby out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, in a way, I think this is just a very like Hollywood way of this is just a LA way of looking at the world.
Yeah.
No other place I think would ever put up with kind of just how this movie like went about, how the people interacted. Like,
Yeah.
I get it, like family can get crazy or whatever. It doesn't get this crazy.
Well, for a lot of people it does. There's some fucked up families out there.
I guess that's true. But I don't know. Like, just twin brother isn't normally telling other twin brother like, hey, take care of my child and wife, you know, like.
Right. Yeah. The girl, my fiance. Another thing about them being fiance, it's like, how did they not meet each other's parents? They decided they lived together for like more than a year. And then at least a year. It suggests it's like a year. And then they're going to
clearly accessible.
They got engaged. That means McConaughey never, again, LA style, McConaughey never went and asked permission for the father to get married.
Yeah.
Never asked for his hand in marriage. So it's like, how did that work out?
Yeah, because I'm mind blown. Because Matthew, like he plays he was in the Navy, and he's a fire department guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's like, come on, you're a guy's guy. You would think you would just know.
See, that's when it goes. Like, I feel like writing honest characters like that. McConaughey is just not really an honest character because they give him these tropes of like, because it's a romantic comedy. They say it's it's obviously a romance movie. So it's like, so like McConaughey has all the traits of like what a romance, like you watch any of these fucking movies, the guy's either like a surgeon, he's something badass, he's a in this movie he's a firefighter instructor. It looks like he's doing like wildfire shit, which is the most badass firefighter there is.
It's LA, they got, or just California in general. They got that issue over there.
Yeah, he's like, he even mentions like it's recession proof. We got fires out here, so like I'm doing pretty good for myself. It's never going out of work.
Things are always gonna burn.
So it's like, he has that trait. Plus, looks like he's wealthy. They have a giant loft. That's what these movies, they always have like cool ass lofts. Like the houses are giant. Like even like Big Daddy, he's broke, loser guy, but he has this massive apartment that looks so cool. It's like McConaughey's place, so cool. So he's like successful. It's McConaughey. He's charming. He's got that southern twang. So it's like, you like him. He's the rom-com king at the time. So they give you these traits, but then when you go back to him not asking for the hand in marriage, him not, wanting to meet her family or talking about family, it doesn't really make sense with every other trait you're giving that character. You're kind of forming into a box and you realize he doesn't fit into that kind of like archetype of, not archetype, but you know what I'm saying, that kind of type of character. So it's just not really that honest, I don't think, about for his character at least.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely like just some moments where it's like, really, like we're not gonna let him redeem himself at all, because he keeps coming back and you keep thinking he's gonna.
I thought the final scene is gonna be we're gonna skip over his change and we just see like he did change. He like left. He broke up with her to do his own personal growth, and he finally comes back when he's like grown. He's like, hey, I'm ready to do this. Let's do it.
That's where I really was not. I understood the ending in a way that, she tells Matthew's character, it's not about us anymore. Like, it's about him. Like, everything I'm going to do now is going to be putting him first.
Mm-hmm.
And so I understood, like, showing that what that meant was, like, I'm going to go after your brother, I suppose.
Yeah.
But just to end it just plainly on that one kind of threw me off.
I know, because you kind of think like the ending.
You're gonna have to divorce your brother now, or you're gonna have to divorce Matthew, and then Matthew's probably never gonna talk to y'all again
because they didn't get a divorce. At least they didn't show it. They just separated, right? Which means like sometimes
they're not divorced.
No.
He's
gonna try to work it out. He's like he left that saying like, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna try to be a better man. Let me go work on myself. And then she's like,
that day.
That night.
Yeah, that night.
Giving up on him, like, this guy fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, McConaughey. That's hilarious though. Like, brother stepping in, swinging in, take the fiance.
This cast though, this is a great cast.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage,
for such a wild movie. Everybody's talking about Gary Oldman with the performance of a lifetime. Thought everybody actually did really great in this movie.
Yeah,
like Matthew. Damn good actor.
That's what I'm saying. It's always funny seeing him, like when we watch Rain of Fire, like that's kind of a silly movie, but because of McConaughey and Christian Bale's acting, it makes the movie so much better where you're into it because of how well their performances are. You believe these characters in this like silly world.
Yeah.
In this movie, it kind of doesn't start off that great, But McConaughey's acting just like brings the whole thing up a notch, and just that realism is there. Because like when you see like the biggest thing I recognize with his acting is whenever they're first laying in bed, when she tells him that she's pregnant. His acting there of like shocked is like so believable, because like that's exactly how if he doesn't want a baby, that's like the perfect way to act that, of like, holy fuck. And you can see it in his eyes of how worried he is. So like McConaughey's acting is stellar all the time. Every
role. It's just impressive, because I don't think at this point he had like any lessons, according to his timeline.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, he brings it.
Even like with the charming, you understand why he's a rom-com guy, because he doesn't make the charming guy corny. Like every single time he's being the cool guy, flirting and whatever, it's always like smooth. It doesn't seem choppy. It doesn't seem weird, because you see like sometimes in rom-com movies or like where the guy's trying to be the cool guy, it's like corny. You're like, this guy's fucking a dork. Yeah. Like it's like, remember Connie was talking about that? Like you can, if you're trying to be cool, you come off as a dork.
You just got to be yourself.
Yeah, you got to be yourself. And so like he always brings it where it's smooth.
That's easy to say though when you're just a naturally cool guy.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, shut the
fuck up, motherfucker.
No, but honestly, okay, Peter, he was like my favorite character in this movie. Just the idea of a French dwarf immigrating to America just on free will alone. It's like,
and
damn,
shitting on everything that America has.
Yeah, it's like, damn, you know what? You're brave. That takes balls. It's already tough to just leave a country and move to another country. It's a whole nother world when you're a dwarf.
Yeah.
Like you're going to get shit on by, a lot of mean people wherever you go in the world. America, especially, I think about like, you like end up in New York City and then you got to get all the way to LA. Yeah. You're dealing with a lot of dicks.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's a badass, man. He keeps the revolver under his pillow. He's having sex with Alabama on his, on the motorcycle.
Yeah. Alabama from True Romance was the Peter Dinklage's girlfriend.
Yeah. This was right before she met Clarence.
Yeah.
That's what I said. It's gotta be.
She left.
She leaves.
And then she does decide to be a prostitute. Because like at one point they're going to stay in a motel and she looks like a prostitute. Like you walk up.
I'm sorry. Like I understood the guy at the motel.
Yeah. You see a girl that is dressed like that. Pretty slutty with a dwarf.
With two
dwarfs. You're right. This guy's like, what kind of freaky sex shit are y'all about to do? He's like, you can't do that in my fucking motel.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not a prostitute. But
like, okay, well, anybody can just say they're not a prostitute. Like, I'm sorry, but you're really just throwing it in my face here.
Yeah.
Like, under normal circumstances, if a prostitute just says I'm not a prostitute, I can let that go. But this is some abnormal shit.
I don't believe you. I just don't believe you.
Yeah.
You are a prostitute.
Yeah.
The sweetest moment, though, in the movie, that like should have been the ending, is whenever they get married. Or I guess when they got married, it felt like the story was almost complete. It was short, but it seemed like, okay, there's that redeeming arc. Like they had to struggle, and then they finally get it. Because before that is like the most heartwarming part of the movie. When me and you both like, okay, that was pretty sweet. Whenever her parents come and meet McConaughey's parents for the first time, and they're all dwarfs, and they recognize they're dwarfs, and you see the mom's face. She's like the bitchy mom, more prejudice. She's like, oh my God, like all these little people, like what the hell?
She's like, you could have told us. Like, how could you not? And then, yeah.
And so she's
shout out to the husband, though.
Cool guy.
On her father. He's a Navy man that didn't bat an eye. Like, immediately, he's just like, hi, nice to meet you. And then they're like, well, can we get your drink? Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
immediately starts drinking, having a good time, telling stories. And so, like, as they're sitting down at dinner,
this is a great build up.
So like you're like, oh my God, this is gonna go so bad. Like I feel so bad for the family because like they're being so rude. Like mom's being so rude to these people. You can see it on her face. But then you realize when they're sitting down at dinner, the big reveal of like why they're so against this is because they're just worried that they're not gonna get a Jewish wedding. You're like, oh, it's not because they're dwarfs, it's because they're not Jewish. That's why. So like, you're like, okay, like sweet, that was a nice little moment. The mom isn't a piece of shit. She's just worried about the Jewish wedding. That was literally the whole thing from the get-go. She's like, okay, see that? There's a nice thing. Like it is normal. Like it's not a weird thing to have a dwarf family. Like it's, don't be mean about it.
That was my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah.
They got me good.
Yeah.
I'm sure whoever did see this in theaters at the time, I'm sure this like kind of brought people back in.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that was funny. That was good.
And then you get the wedding after that. So it's like almost, it feels like the story kind of completes. Like the biggest worry is like, how are they going to deal with this? Is it going to be accepted? How's her family going to react? Then they get married. Everything's all good and well. And then in like the next, is the movie over?
Which makes
30 minutes left.
Which makes Matthew's character look even worse. It's like, dude, everybody in this movie is on board with this. Even her parents.
You grew up in this world, and her parents who did not expect this. For some reason, the main girl when she brings her parents to meet Matthew McConaughey's parents, she didn't call them and say, hey, like tell them what's going on. She wanted to just bring them in blind.
Yeah, that's kind of rude. I'd be pissed.
Like even whoever you're meeting when you're bringing somebody, you kind of give them a rundown of who they are.
Yes.
No matter, even if they're normal. Like, oh, this guy's funny. You know, he's a good guy. You'll have a good time.
Yeah, and just the typical warning of like, hey, listen, once he gets like 3-4 beers in him, like he can be a little, but like he's just extra. Or hey, sometimes she whispers to so and so, and like it doesn't really make sense. Just go with it. Like you always give people the rundown. So
in this scenario, you would definitely expect her to give I think I caught that. Oh, I didn't. Sorry, there's a fly running around, and I thought I snagged it. Yeah. So even in this situation, you would expect her to tell her parents, like, give them some type of warning.
It's like, just so you know, like they're little people, but they're actually very well put together. They have a great household, that kind of thing. Like that's what you say. And it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right.
And the main girl definitely redeems herself because like throughout the beginning, when she finds out about McConaughey's family, she's kind of being the bitchy one. Like she's like telling them to their face that she's worried that her baby's going to turn out like them. She's like, I feel so bad about it. But that's what I'm worried about.
But she's being completely honest because she doesn't understand this world.
Right. And so like, you're kind of like, ooh, they might take offense to that. And then she actually redeems herself. And then again, McConaughey does not.
No, but like, I thought that was a very just raw moment. She's not BSing with them. She's like, I don't get it. Like I'm worried about being a mother to a child that like will probably be bullied, picked on, laughed
health
at,
issues,
stared at,
price,
health issues.
like,
Yeah, just
pay for it all.
And I'm worried about bringing that in the world. And they're just like, honestly, like that, it makes sense, and you shouldn't feel bad about being extra worried about. It's already enough pressure to bring life into the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's another thing when it's a good shot that it's just going to be a challenge from the jump.
Yeah.
And so like, I thought that was like I thought that was redeeming on her to like not hold back, be like, I'm sorry. Like this is just how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, it's okay. But like, look at us, like, look at the house we have, look at the family we've raised.
Exactly.
Like it can work out. Like if you put your foot down and, do the best you can. So I like that, it's just, it's incredible showing that Matthew was the only one that just couldn't do it.
Yeah. He says some fucked up shit towards the end. Like whenever the baby gets born, he's freaking out because it's a dwarf and the doctor's giving him the rundown of like the health issues that are possible, what they need to give the medicine. And he says something like, they say something, he's like, I don't need that. I need extra chromosomes.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, dude, chill out, bro. It's your fucking baby, bro.
Yeah. Between that and the circle jerking the midgets at a young age, I was just like, whoa. They had some dicey lines thrown in there.
Yeah, they did.
But yeah. I mean, I liked it well enough. It's a good message. It's clearly like targeted at a specific crowd here. Like you know what the target audience they're going for.
Yeah, this is
And it's like for me, it's just kind of eye opening. Like I've never really like. First off, I don't know any dwarves. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I do.
I don't know any. But even if I were to meet one, I don't think I would like actually like be a dick. I wouldn't be the bully. But it's just like good. It's refreshing to see this kind of movie with this kind of message of like, listen, like they all walk the same kind of paths that we do. Like,
yeah,
there's successful ones. There's angry ones. There's people, there's dwarves that just don't do well. It's just like how we are.
Yeah, it's just humans.
There's plenty of deadbeats to go around.
It's a funny thing to think about, like to bring that message in. You do it through a rom-com plot like this
with an ensemble cast like that.
Yeah.
I
mean, because surely like that. I mean, they hired a lot of dwarves for this. I mean, there's so many in that party. Like, how many dwarf actors are there just in comparison to the?
That's what I was
the population.
Great acting by every dwarf that we saw.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody like looked good on screen. There were no like awkward like moments. Like
Yeah.
everything flowed well. Like conversations felt very real.
Yeah.
Um,
And they honestly like kind of worked around it if they weren't actors. They never like gave them any like emotional scenes.
yeah.
It was all very conversational stuff, very simple. So like it's not that hard to act in those. So like if they aren't actors, you can kind of work around it because again, you don't really have that big of a population to pull from.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I'm sure there's not that many dwarf actors because there's just not that many dwarfs in the world.
Yeah.
600,000 in the world compared to 8 billion.
Yeah. It's got to be pretty tough to find good acting.
Right.
Like, you know, when you really think about it.
Maybe it's easy actually because there's not that many to choose from. You're like, you just put that job posting out, the casting call, and then you get every
maybe a lot of
actor there is.
dwarves. Maybe a lot of dwarves just think like, well, you know, I'm sure I could get into show business,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it was a very well put together movie, I thought.
Yeah. I like Peter Dinklage, dude, because he just
like there's
he's
one
so cool all the time. Like every role he has, he's just like a cool dude.
Oh, dude, he's the
genius
best.
guy in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
He's a little badass. What would you call him? Not like a hippie guy.
And this
Motorcycle druggy guy.
bro,
like,
just he's a rock star. You
Yeah,
know,
rock
and
star,
he hates
right.
he hates the system. I think he just hates systems in general because he's in an argument with like the president of the Little People Convention. He's like, I fucking hate what you do and like, you know, bringing us together like as a community, and for no real like rhyme or reason. He's not like a self-hating dwarf.
he's a little sexist at the end there. He gets a little sexist saying like, I think putting women in the workforce was just a way to make the lazy women clean up after themselves.
Yeah.
Like, I thought you were like a super liberal guy, bro. What-
No. He hates all systems, and you know he's just that guy. But there is one review that I saw.
Yeah, read the letterbox reviews. I'll see what people got to say about this movie.
This one's crazy.
All right.
I was an atheist before I watched Tiptoes, but now I wholeheartedly believe in hell. I've seen it with
Jesus.
my own two eyes. Like, whoa, it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't horrible, and also it's a sweet story. Kind of. The ending's not that sweet, but
The ending definitely is a little messed up, and the fact, a little wild.
Here's
There's
a
a lot of half stars.
here's a user review on IMDb. The title is Bizarre. Could have been worse.
Yeah,
That's
of
fair.
course it could have been worse.
That's fair. Again, it's only interesting because the story's interesting. If it were a normal storyline, it wouldn't be that good of a movie, probably.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm thinking about like how the ending does feel rushed. You know, it's Gary Oldman kissing McConaughey's wife.
It's just like a weird twist at the end. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, but if you try to dive deeper past that moment, well, now it's a 3-hour movie.
Okay, look at this title. Little good in this movie.
See, that's this person probably just doesn't like looking at little people. You know, they're probably just like disgusted by them. So, you know, that person sucks.
This just says terrible. 1 star. 1 star out of 10. Just saw this at the Sundance last night. Absolutely horrid. People left mid-movie in droves. Quite possibly the worst acting I've seen in years. Best line, does it hurt to be a little person? Maybe. Maybe not. But it is quite painful to watch this movie.
I disagree.
People
entirely.
are hating on this shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it wasn't great, but like it's not like shouldn't be pissed off.
I think
Oh.
walking out mid-movie, it's just like, all right, you clearly just don't want to like understand a good message here.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only thing that I'm just like, okay, this was eye-opening and was very like from the heart. You know, this was an inspiring movie. So there's something to be said for that. So if you walk out midway through this movie, you're just kind of a dick, I think.
Yeah, you fucking, what is it called if you are discriminatory against little people?
I don't know.
You're dwarfist, racist, dwarfist.
Oh, yeah, dwarfist.
Is that a word? No.
You would think, though.
Let's see, what's the derogatory? Looking up what's the derogatory term of dwarfs. Oh, I guess midget.
Oh, no.
But midget hater. Why would you?
That's, for people that don't like dwarves. That's
Yeah,
what you
call
would
them
want to type in.
Midgets. How did that pop up, I wonder? Midget? Like, why is that? What makes that a bad word?
I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of with the. I don't know. It does sound like a lot more aggressive. Like when I do think about it, like shut up, you midget. You know, it just sounds wrong.
Yeah.
Like dwarf, it's like more sophisticated. I feel like it's just more endearing. I guess I don't know.
I wonder. Let's look it up. Where does midget come from?
Same place as you and I, pal.
The vagina. Midge. So the term midget comes from the word midge, which is a small biting insect. Okay, there you go.
That's pretty messed up.
Calling people an insect.
Yeah,
insect type human. That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, pretty much saying like not human. All right. Hey, I won't say it anymore.
I won't either. The one time I said it earlier in this episode is the last time I'll say it.
That was it. Unless we're
On
referring
accident.
to just
Forgive me.
Yeah, but it
was all right.
Whatever. Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah. All right. Final thought on Tiptoes.
Good acting, raw performances, seen from all the main characters.
Heartwarming.
In a way,
Almost.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, it's just kind of shows how crazy family can get.
The ending just kind of like really ruins the kind of message. I feel like.
I agree.
It's just like what?
Like I can understand what they're going for, but I don't necessarily agree with it.
I mean, I guess it shows the girl like truly has no more prejudice against it and no more because she doesn't care because Gary Oldman's there. So like, she's cool dating him.
She's
like,
still a married woman cheating on her husband with his twin brother. There's just really no moral. There's really no way to kind of justify that in my head. Like, no, that's just morally wrong.
And the way they faded out, like the ending is literally them. McConaughey just left. Now it's nighttime because he visited during the day and he goes back to the city to leave his wife and his son. Being a piece of shit father, and then steps back. It's nighttime. Obviously what's the girl's name? I keep forgetting her name.
I do too.
Carol.
Okay.
Carol's sitting there with her holding her baby, and so is Gary Oldman, and they're looking up at the stars, how beautiful it is, and he does a smooch on her, and then credits roll. You're like, wait, what? They're now they're together?
Yeah.
So ending crazy, but no, I thought there's some heartwarming parts. It's a good I don't know, it's okay movie.
I think everybody should watch it one time.
Yeah.
I'll probably only watch it one time.
On IMDb, the first quote that they give you from the movie, Carol says, "So you had a circle jerk with a bunch of little people? I would love to see that." That's like the one quote people remember.
Makes sense. I mean, you were in shock.
Yeah. What?
I'll probably watch the movie one time, but I will show the trailer for this movie probably hundreds of times.
The trailer is hilarious. Actually, before we wrap this up, let's just watch the trailer in its entirety, just so you guys can listen to this. You heard like snippets of it in the beginning, but the trailer really is so disingenuous.
Carol and Steven's life together was perfect.
I've got to get going.
Yeah, blowjob scene immediately.
Hey, baby.
I love you.
There's one small problem.
Hi, I'm Rolfe. I'm his brother. We're twins.
Are your parents,
Yeah.
It can tear them apart.
I think you could have let me know that everyone in your
We
family
got to bring
is a
back these
midget.
trailers with the voices over it.
I love it.
Whatever.
Or bring them together.
Hey, welcome. I'm Steven.
Oh, there
The
you
music in the
are.
background
Yeah.
is so like
Bruno and his
Like
mom.
lighthearted.
that face right there of her, like the mother walking in to see the little people just being so disgusted by it, looks like.
yes, but this was actually like a tense scene,
Yeah,
right, in the movie. So it's
When the going gets rough,
Just the
it's
immediate
only the sound
I love
of
it.
the
change.
that counts.
Would it really be that big of a deal if our kid was a dwarf?
You knocked up this great girl and you didn't tell her that her baby's probably gonna be little.
I'm not like you.
We are so cute and cuddly. Don't discriminate against us.
He said these parties
See, not
were
knowing
really
he's French and
wild,
then hearing that, you're like, wait, what? Are they just making jokes?
You better back off, Goldie Hawn. My man can do what he wants to do. I'm ready for an adult relationship.
What is this man doing in your bedroom?
That scene, whenever the guy walks in and it's Gary Oldman with his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend, and the dude walks in. Like, that's honestly worst case scenario because, like, Gary Oldman has a cane. He's little. Obviously, he can't defend himself against, like, a grown man. That's, like, you know, normal. So it's like worst case scenario. You're going to get your ass whooped. Like, that guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, that guy's, like, beating up on a little person.
Yeah, kept waiting for Gary Oldman to take his knees out of his shoes and just stand up full force and let this guy have it. Go Commissioner Gordon on his ass.
Bro. Whip that cane around, beat his ass.
Yeah.
A walk down the aisle.
Stevens, he's a very lucky
Went
guy.
Jewish for no reason.
Yeah.
Smart enough not to screw it up.
Had to do it for Hollywood.
Do it for Hollywood.
There'll be rough patches, there's no doubt about it.
Canal Plus and Langley Productions proudly present command performances from Kate Beckinsale, Matthew McConaughey, Patricia Arquette,
Yeah, they still couldn't get his name right.
Gary Oldman.
Role of a lifetime.
See, it makes it seem like that McConaughey and her are going to figure it out. It's going to be a nice, heartwarming ending. And you're like, it's more fucked up than anything.
You got to appreciate that, I guess.
Yeah.
But you didn't get the story you were expecting. At least I didn't.
I did not at all. That trailer makes it look like it's going to be some crazy-ass, weird movie that's almost rude. The trailer's rude in reality. Like, it makes it seem kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, what? That's why people thought it was an SNL skit, because you're like, dude, what the hell? But, okay, that's all I got on Tiptoes.
That's all I got, too.
Well, update for the Crown fans in the world. Here we are in Studio 3.0, living here in Austin, Texas.
We did the damn thing.
We did it. We got a nice little cool garage studio in here. It's freezing cold right now because it's like 60 to 50 degrees outside.
We're still figuring it out. Like, we just finished this thing up last night, pretty much, or the day before. We've been out in Austin for 3 weeks. Just been getting settled in, but happy to be here.
Yep. So you can look forward to higher produced episodes. We'll get more in depth in these things, make it a little bit more enjoyable for you guys, as well as we're going to start releasing up some short films and some movies to show you what we got. Get our practice in before we start making real movies. But the move to Austin's our next big step in the show. So look forward to some higher produced stuff, and we got a lot coming for you. So get ready.
Boom.
Boom. All right. Thank you guys for listening. If you've ever seen Tiptoes, please comment below and let us know what you thought about this movie. I want to hear your takeaway from it. If you liked it, if you thought it was terrible, the ending, what you think about that. So just please let us know what you think about Tiptoes if you have seen it.
Yes. Please.
If you enjoyed the episode, like and subscribe, and we will see y'all next week. We're out.
Trying to buy my next meal. Seems all I do is drive. And when the boss man sends my next check in the mail, I'll have enough for closing time. And I've been cussing like a sailor since I ran out of weed. My tank is running dry.